Hopefully, God has shown you something more than the trivial worries that basically have been installed upon you via the world. Yeah, as you know, there's powers that be. They're busy trying to do what they would like to do. And the sad or weird thing is, and it's not far from being just right next door as far as this mentality. There is a presence on this plane. The You want to know what is doing all the technological things. In fact, using it all first for some kind of wars, and then there's a soft version, kind of just permanently installed, or more like I mean, it's like I said, it's a soft version that things won't be permanent very long, that's for sure. Always changing. There's a lot that needs to fall apart to be rebuilt. But how does that get done on a level that says we actually created this consciously for what? Well, see, whoever says that, it's not any one person that, say, like I said, whatever has moved next door. It's a control system. There's controllers that has masterminded the very way of everything, like they say, every aspect of our lives. It's very, very mastermind. Generational. They use generations of people. Just the fact of generating, the constant generating. But what I'm saying is it can be pointed at through astrology. There is a degeneration happening with Pluto. It will mark the times. And then there's a regeneration. And then it's of information, possibly. See, when the the generations that are marked by the Plutonian events, which are a place in human consciousness and evolution and even time where it's marked, where, like, okay, so when Pluto was in Libra, that was the kind of the war of the sexes. There became loose attitudes about marriage. That's when I think Libin's Liberation came out. Women's Liberation came out or something. Something would go on, you could see, where Pluto was cleaning out the closet of traditional values or false beliefs. They say just non-truths about relationships altogether, because that's what Libra ruled. And see, that's not very apparent until the people that were born during the Libra generation become bigger babies. Now, there's a polarity to it. See, there could be some people that are immersed in the hell of not having purged a generational value system, perhaps. Like the babies that were born to the Pluto and Libra. Um, a lot might have experienced divorces, controversial behind all of that. There's a lot of restructuring. That's when I think the psychologists finally started coming up with that you don't really stay together for the children. Phew. That's like staying together to drive the children crazy against their own faculties too. You people should learn how to save yourselves from a toxic situation right in front of your kids. Otherwise, your kids take on that. ability to stay in a toxic situation for fucking how long? And they don't even have a feeling of their feelings, right? And it's weird. What do you do? There's where you're performing emotional incest on your own children. There's where you're putting them right in the middle of everything about that, how do we get along and stuff and why to do it. And those kids sense that, like, they're just being a burden now. And and it's like, man, as soon as I can, I'll get out of here. And you'll see. I'm not saying that there isn't anything great about that whole thing where a kid will learn on their what they're supposed to do. They'll come back and thank you for the right things if it's needed. You know, I mean, don't expect a thank you, babes. Stop it. I mean, if you can't find something that is self-rewarding that God approves of, and you get you keep getting a response from, what I heard one time that, I think Jesus said or something. He said it's like, there isn't any merit in loving your own children, your family. Not really. When you love total strangers right in front of your children and your family, that's when you get merit with God up in heaven. You don't even know that you're not really knowing what love is. If it's just attachment development that is a natural psychological mechanism that now all of this information is coming from the 70s where they start experiencing more psychological study just by behavioral patternings perhaps coming from traditional values that are imposed onto the population more and more. Who knows how long this shit was invented? Not saying that the union between two people. See, this is where Pluto would say there is such a thing as soulmate connection and partnership and real life love. See, that's what Libra rules, is that balance too, achieved by knowing the delicacy of so many things. It's not just one thing, right? You can't just be a sex after each other for sex. There's a balance to be made, right? And you don't blame each other for your own financial problems. And whew, how do we navigate all of that, right? It's still way up in the air. And guess who? What I'm saying is the generations that come out of it, I'm saying it takes 45 years to 50 for a human aperture to come into their, you know what? I know something now. And I'm speaking from the soccer mom energy where they are sexually peaking at 45 and 50, and they have energy to just move ahead with the generational value maybe, but really, what would it be? See, I never had kids, but I'm sure it's to be a steam engine to just rearing. The proper term is called rearing. You don't raise kids, you rear them. You raise chickens in a barn, and you rear children in your homes. That means you get behind them. You're listening and you support every move they're making. It starts from very early. You're not tripping them up. You're not suggesting really anything other than you're free to figure out what your own interests are. And when we start seeing something catching on and working, we will be even more free and setting ourselves free into knowing by the age 6 or 7, you should be displaying, believe this or not, an interest of what you will be doing and maxing out, looping and expanding into for the rest of your life. And then by the time you hit that 45 years of age or 50, for a lot of women, it's just children raising, right? They're just going to be there for the other, you know, maybe. I'm not saying that just because like saying, here I am talking for a woman that never had children. I mean, just because you didn't have children, you didn't culminate some kind of interest, that now you can come back with it. And what if it's everything to do with seeing that clearly, more clearly, say, not so immersed in the survival game of just having kids? It's like, see, that's the kind of person I am. See, I'm capable of loving a lot of people, like, I think genuinely, because I don't not really immersed in the illusion of family, but really, what is what is a good friend really, aside from uh, a, a family? Family is those residences that occupy the house of family, which is brother, sister, mother, father, aunt, uncle, cousins. Um, all of them have the possibility of becoming the more superior role to one another, which is just simply a good friend. And I'm here to tell you that a good friend is just a human being that is practicing love. There's higher octaves, there's high octaves, and there's lower octaves. I've experienced the higher octave to the point of magical. It's not fun when the illusion of love from the other comes in and says, I love you, but then they start turning. You have these strange relationships. Then when you become achieved in love, when you become achieved in love as love, you have no problem with attracting love affairs. That really there's a lot of misunderstanding that comes. It could be just a misunderstanding. Really, you have to be careful. You have to figure out, is there chemistry enough here where we can play with this and we end up working. We work together. There's something called power couples, right? It applies with a lot of other things, though. A lot of people are doing things that you shouldn't be doing that, but they do it anyway, right? It happens. Staying in a toxic relationship is one of the things. See, that's what I'm saying about our generation right now is if we if we actually honor why we came here based in our generational and degenerational qualities. What's not panning out too well is the old hanging on to the paradigm of just a suggestion that says this is the way that you guys should get along and love each other, and this is what it looks like. In fact, there's too much dependence on trying to meet that quota or status and not ever questioning even that if you're even cut out to do a love relationship and with a human being. Uh, you know, narcissists, a lot of them, if we have been abused so bad in our lives and a certain kind of neglect happened or a certain kind of pain keeps hindering us, it can handicap us. It's kind of what's happening. See, this is the thing, it's very controversial. Think with me on this. Do you think that there's a cure? I do. It's love. It's love. And see, you as a narcissist possible that has been hurt so bad need to know this, that it's possible to cultivate something within you that begins to just rinse away. It gets away. Get you don't let the mind use you. The memories stored in you from what you consider as really bad experiences. You're not those experiences, for one, and for two, you're just the experiencer. And you're also experiencing the mind who gets hung up on these memories. The way that you use your mind is to not let it use you in that way. Your memory is nothing but limitation. All of mind is a limitation if you want to know the nature of the mind. See, there's very few people that will start leading you into this how to look at it. You have to be kind of very miserable to start hearing what a Buddhist master or a guru is saying. Ego death is very real. I'm going through an ego death with, there's the Mars and Pisces, and I'm a Mars ruled person, and I think in a lot of ways, a lot of people are. And what's vital when you are that way, in the middle of just what it is that you are now busted completely open and ready to be exposed to something more real than your ego. And it can't, you're in danger. You're very vulnerable because there is red herrings that can be fed in that could say, well, this is what you need and this is how you solve that particular bind that you feel that you're in. While ego death, which is, it's temporarily disabling. You're not safe around people that have not been through that and do not have a way to get into your mind through saying something to you that says, that makes you recognize the real you, that can begin to see, like I said, the experiencer instead of relating as the experience and just saying, I am all of this. No. The most amazing thing that this life has to offer is your rebirth into the living body of Christ, which is this moment now, the fact that you have a free will to choose your response, right, to something. Now, yeah, I'm working on my level of understanding how that I'm very reality and truth oriented. I gain a trust in my spontaneous actions and responses and even just reactions all my life. That's part of who I am, that some people may or may not appreciate it. It scares some people, but other people, they find a value in it. And I have see, if you hire me to do work, the thing that I've had problem with is working for a place where you hit a clock and you're working for a boss. Oftentimes I find that you'll be in a situation where it's like, well, actually, if you want to do it, if you really want to make money, you should put a little bit more resource in it this way and that way. Just let me do it a certain way. I know it's going to cost a little bit more, but you will make a lot more. Just see, I know this. See, I can't prove this about myself in my life. Not recently. This is something I'm going through with Neptune that anybody else would be highly disturbed, and I've had to just drop like talk about ego death hunts, and everybody around me, which is nobody. I don't have enough people around me, and there's a profound reason why. I have to keep my eye on it. It's like, because people aren't really the answer, and whatever is in my life right now, um, I don't say this as an insult. I so appreciate whatever is trying to love on this plane. I had something to say about that, about how love, there isn't, we are so like past the point of no return when it comes to, did you learn your lesson about love? Did you guys make it? Did you guys learn how to live? No? Guess what's coming now? Because you didn't learn how to love, you're not going to find a way to get better at anything. Over the next 40 years, the organism is going to experience, if they're not careful and they do not get that fucking love together. See, this is the thing, it's just too bad that it's the beautiful thing that happens is that it has to just break down and get totally fucking dark ages before something finally says, no, this is the way we live. This is the way we celebrate. It has nothing to do with fighting darkness and trying to get something to harmonize. Just you turn your back, and the Holy Gospel, the real message of Christ Jesus, is just you look at each other's eyes and you wink, and his symbol, her symbol, whatever symbol of the real story that is nothing but good news from here on out, Huns. Hate to disturb narcissists, man. We're going to start having fun. It's not going to be all about 12 hours of work and putting on your... And it's like, you just have to do work. It's the real work you have to do. It takes fucking discipline to finally really reach the just like that and be totally relaxed and say, I don't judge me and I do not hold on to that just fucking 2 seconds ago. Are you going to let go? Or is your mind working against all possibility of anything good coming out here today? Throwing babies out with bathwaters because something said something wrong or something. It's like, you know what? Did you get past words yet? Little kids who think that the whole universe was built on a word. You don't even understand what they mean when they say speaking into reality. You don't know what resonation is, so why, if nothing was the truth, then how does it resonate? You need words to go into your heart and then comes out again. That's all a part of your rewire of your subconscious mind when you're having ego death. You better stop judging. Stop judging in such a way. Start discerning more. Be discerning. But really, the judging thing is out the window. If you consider what Jesus went through, put in front of a judge, and it was the laughing. It's still the laughing show today. You can go there and find out. Oh, this is why everybody's insane, because you think this is real. You think that you can say the truth. You think that you can tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me, if reality can just disappear, we can get really vague on the subject matter of what the truth really is, so that shit may live.